Okay, so I threw together a few tips on how to tackle some of the obstacles you might see on your local trails. These are just some photos of the local trails around here and a couple that I shot in Tahoe when I was there. And every trail is different, so you're going to encounter different obstacles, whether they're roots, rocks, ruts, water, sandy conditions, gravelly conditions, rocky conditions. They're all different. Every single trail is different. So hopefully you could apply some of the tips. The most important tip that you should know is you will go where you're looking. And for beginners, it's common to look at an obstacle. Like if there's a rock in the middle of the trail, you will look at that rock and you will steer the bike into that rock. It's just human nature. So the best tip for beginning novice riders is look where you want to go, or picking your line. So you want to look at the ground where you want to go. You don't want to look at the obstacle that you do not want to hit. And it takes some practice, and let's go.
So something like this, if you could see, it's kind of hard to see, but you kind of have a lot of rocky section through here, right through this area. And if you were to get your tire twisted, on the downside of one of these rocks, if you're not going fast enough, you're not going to float this thing where you just ride over everything. If you're going slower, and you twist it, your handlebars twist on the backside of one of these rocks, it could throw you. So when you see stuff like this, there's a nice smooth path right on the left side here. So when you're coming, around a turn, you see this, maybe you know the trail, or even if you don't, you want to pick your line. One tip that I do when I was first beginning, and I learned, to pick your line, is to say that in your head. Just, pick your line. You're coming around, just constantly remind yourself, and then eventually, it'll be second nature. Subconsciously you'll know to pick your line. But you come across a section like this, and you think to yourself, pick your line. And you want to pick the smoothest line. So you want to just come around the left side here, right around the left side. Nice and easy. Okay?
Here's a section of the Tahoe Rim Trail, and it's a bit rocky through here. And this was the first time I was on it last year. But even though I haven't been on the trail and I wasn't familiar with it, I knew I had to pick your line in certain sections. So going down, you just pick the smoothest line, which is through here. You just drop down the sledge and then right up through here and down. Okay, so, and then conversely, going up, you want to pick the smoothest line as you can going up with the least amount of obstacles, because when you run into more obstacles with your front tire, especially going up, it'll stop your momentum, and then when your momentum is stopped, your front tire stops and you'll have to clip out. So you want to take a nice smooth line. It's pretty much the same line as going down, where you'll drop down this way and then go up this little gap here and then up through here and to the left of this rock. So you want to visualize your line through here, up, and through this path here. So here's a picture of the Tahoe Rim Trail again, the TRT trail, and it has a series of steps. And basically when you come across something like this, you could pretty much yank up on your handlebars, bring your front tire, pop it over this step here, and then you want to start leaning forward. Keep pedaling and lean forward, and then the reason why you want to lean forward is to take the weight off your back tire, because if you have a lot of weight on your back tire, it'll pretty much stop right here and you won't be able to go. So pop your front tire over, continue to pedal, lean forward. Right when your back tire comes over this, over the step here, you want to lean forward and just continue pedaling. You'll be able to get over it. Okay, here is a trail named Manzanita at Skeggs Point in San Mateo, California. And we have a bit of a rock garden formation here. So once you start coming down, there's a little ledge right here, and what you want to avoid is the major rocks here, obviously. So where you want to look is the smoothest line. So you could head this way, right through here, or you could come down here and right to the left of this rock right here. So you want to focus your vision on your line that you want to take, which is right through here or right through here. I have a picture looking up this trail. Okay, here is the same trail, and the previous photo was taken up here. Here's that little ledge, and the two lines you could take are to the left hand side. You could come down right through here, take this line, or you could go straight down here and then make that left hand turn through this little gap here to the left side of this rock, and then right down through this channel here. And you know, this photo looks kind of ominous. It looks actually, this line in this trail, it looks harder than it actually is. Here's a section of trail that's definitely not for beginning or novice riders, and probably not even for intermediate level riders. We have quite a few obstacles here. We got this tree on the left. We got a bunch of root formations growing out here. It's downhill. We got rocks right here, and it continues down and flattens out through here. So I'll show you a picture looking up this section right here, and it's this right here, and this is more for advanced riders or someone with a downhill bike. Would make it a lot easier with like 6+ inches of travel in the back. You know, we in general, if you're watching this, you probably have a trail bike. Even if it's a dual suspension, you probably have around 4 inches of travel, maybe 5 inches of travel in the back. Well, the downhill bikes, the big beefy downhill bikes, they got like 7-8 inches of travel with big springs, and they absorb major obstacles and drop-offs like this. That's what it's made for. And those guys would just roll this. They just come through here with speed and float all this stuff. They'd come right down, right over the roots, right over this rock, and just fly down this. But for us, we're probably not taking that line. The line we would have to take for this particular trail is we'd have to know it, for one, and then we'd have to get our tires lined up and shoot this gap right through here. And then you also have to make sure that your handlebars don't clip this tree once you're approaching this area, because it's a tight fit. Your handlebars get really close to this tree, and if your handlebars clip this tree, it's bad news from there. So basically your line would be to get your tire rolling right through here, and then sit behind your seat, and then take this little drop right here, and then shoot the rest of it. And the reason basically why you want to sit back behind your seat is to get your center of gravity centralized, because if you're sitting on your seat, your center of gravity once you're heading downhill is forward, and you don't want your center of gravity forward, or there's a more likelihood where you're going to go over the handlebars. So I hope you could apply some of those tips, maybe one or two, to your local trails. And just keep biking, keep at it, and keep challenging yourself, and eventually you'll be able to clear most of the obstacles on your trails. Okay, see you on the trails.